Welcome to Bloodwash. In this game, well, we have to wash some clothes. I know it doesn't sound amazing, does it? Well, don't worry, because it actually is, as to do so we have to risk being hunted by an infamous killer stalking and killing women called the Womb Ripper. I know, I didn't make it up. Now, honestly, these kinds of horror games are some of my favourites in the genre. We've got this, Murder House, Happy Humble's Burger Farm, basically anything published by Puppet Combo, Torture Star or Chiller's Art. I don't know why, but there's something so simple and beautiful about these games, and more often than not, I adore the kind of walking simulator horror games with the retro packaging. It just scratches that itch for me. But how good is Bloodwash actually? Well, there's only one way to find out, and of course that's by grinding all 15 achievements that this spooky game has to offer. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Welcome to the achievement grind. The game starts with us in a crusty and disgusting apartment. We have just got back from a long and hard day's work of studying, but instead of being able to relax afterwards, our deadbeat boyfriend Liam has done absolutely nothing, including the laundry, so now this is our problem, as that smeghead is throwing up in the bathroom. But we have a job interview tomorrow and nothing to wear, so we must do the washing ourselves. And have a stern word with Liam, of course, as not only is he letting us down, he is letting our baby down as well, for we are pregnant. So we go around the hideous flat and pick up all of the dirty clothes, ready to give them their monthly scrape. And then we leave to head to the basement. In there, things get pretty spooky, as it does look absolutely appalling, but even worse than that, both of the washing machines are out of order. But whilst figuring out what to do, we hear a noise coming from behind us. It's Hobo Joe. And surprise, it's Hobo Joe. We scare the hell out of each other, but Joe's missus has kicked him out of the flat, and since it's freezing outside, he is hidden in the basement for some warmth. We then realise we need to go elsewhere for washing up, so we head upstairs to pick up our purse and of course for the monies inside it. Also bumping into another human. This is Stan, and fortunately he is a nice guy. He is actually a really nice guy and says that if we ever need anybody, he is here to help. But he also tells us about the laundromat that is open 24/7 and may be our saving grace for our interview tomorrow. It is a little bit dangerous to go out alone this late by ourselves and with a serial killer on the loose, but we're a big girl, so he writes down the address, we grab our purse and set off to catch the last bus. Now whilst we wait for the bus to arrive, we talk to this lovely homeless fellow about the pursuit of education and the duality of man. Nah, I'm only joking. He invites us to share his sleeping bag, and this actually might be a better option than Liam, so food for thought. However, for now the bus arrives and we hop on, and the lovely bus driver gives us an offer that we cannot refuse.
Hey, if you're looking to score, I have a good deal just for a pretty little thing like you.
Like me? So kind.
You won't even have to pay cash, if you know what I mean.
For free? So arsehole bus drivers aside, we for some reason find a picture of a dead person and then take a seat. Eventually, as most buses do, it stops again and picks up a very well-dressed fellow who decided to stand right next to us. So doing my best to absolutely avoid him, we simply look out of the window. But that only spares him on more, and now he is in our face. He asks to sit beside us, so we tell him to go and feck himself. And like most well-collected and stable men, he takes the news very well.
You're going to die tonight.
What?
You're going to die tonight. I've seen it. Tonight is your last night on Earth.
Thank God. So yeah, this guy not only repeatedly tells us that we're gonna die, but also somehow knows that we are pregnant. He gets pretty detailed in what horrors await for me, so we decide it's probably best to take our leave, especially because the bus has arrived. We get off the bus and we unlock our first achievement, warnings unheeded. But before we head into the laundrette, we have a quick gander around the squares of shops. We find comics, codes for some things, and bizarrely a bloody shirt sticking out of a bin. But we just put that straight back. Now it's time to head into the clothes washing building. We talk to the very happy employee, and he indeed says that we are open all night, but he takes his naps at midnight, so don't disturb him when he's sleeping. We also then steal a game toy from the box to his right, just in case we get bored, of course. Next we bump into another very nice patron. He talks about being tired, but also that the old laundrette burnt down next door, and this is the one that replaced it. There was a massive fire, and although nobody knows what caused the fire, it did unfortunately kill a young woman. But apparently it is weird that she did die, as the fire started slowly and she had many chances to escape, but she was found in the office and they almost opened up a murder investigation around it, as apparently she was locked in, but nothing came from it. Anyway, we don't have to talk to this lovely patron, it's time to see what's on TV, and there are a lot of things to go through, including this. Copyright.
Can cause big trouble.
Sorority.
I know where the Tri Delta sororities having their initiation tonight.
Yeah, felt the delta.
And we just might be able to watch.
They say you've got to start at the bottom to get to the top.
But since I'm allergic to nudity in this PG Christian video, we turn off and unlock our next achievement for looking at all of the channels and get couch potato. But enough messing around, we get our change and we throw our disgusting clothes into the washing machine and unlock the achievement laundry started. So whilst we wait for them to be cleaned, we now have the chance to explore the nearby shops and to get a little exploring done under our belt. The first place we peruse is Peepaw's, and he warns us immediately not to steal. But we're not here to steal, we're here to get our next achievement for clicking on this Ouija board hidden behind the counter for Spirit Summoner, and to also look at some of the most licentious and transgressive pornography that we have ever clapped eyes on. But we soon go to leave and get the absolute smeg scared out of us when Peepaw thinks that we're stealing, so we manoeuvre ourselves out of the shops very quickly. The next shop that we enter is my favourite, the pizza place. Now it may not seem like there is anything of interest here, however we find an arcade machine and there's an achievement up for grabs here. Now unfortunately I can't actually show you the lowest section of this game, as the person we're playing as a crazy homeless person with their cock in full swing in view. So not wanting to annoy the monetization gods, I'm just going to play it safe here to be careful. Now the case is here that I have to use vomit as a projectile to kill pig policemen. Oh, and of course poop from time to time as well. So let's just cut to the chase. We score 5,000 points back out of the game and unlock the achievement Capitalist Casualty. Yeah. Anyway, we also talk to the very kind pizza man before we move on to our third and final shop. This pawn shop is ran by a very stereotypical sales guy who just wants that money, money, money. I mean, he even has the cigar. But in here we also find a box with a photo of a couple inside. The people inside the photo are Louis and Samantha. Louis was the owner of the old laundromat, and there was also a rumour that he got his employee Samantha pregnant. Samantha is also the woman who got caught in the fire. However, some say that Samantha actually survived and just skipped town afterwards. We also find out that Louis, her partner, had a criminal history, and many believe he is the one who set the fire to begin with, as he also disappeared shortly afterwards. So we take that horrible information and leave the slime to his microwaves. But it's the perfect timing, our washing is done, so we remove it and put it to dry. When we do, the front bell rings, but when we investigate, there's nobody there. However, there is now the toilet key, so we swipe that. Next, the phone rings, we answer it and hear a bizarre sound before we just hang up and get rid of that. And then I remember we actually picked up a game toy earlier, so we might as well get this achievement now as well. This game has us play as a serial killer on the hunt for people to kill. It is extremely easy and we only have to get 20 kills. We get it in a matter of seconds and back out to unlock the achievement High Score Killer. Now, having picked up the toilet keys, we then decide to explore the bathroom, and we start with the women's for some reason. However, we do find a couple of good things in here that we need. The first is an achievement for collecting all of the magazines in the game. We unlock Avid Reader, and we also find a huge phone number scribbled on the walls, so something to do in the future. Now it's time to move on to the men's bathroom, and in here is yet another couple of achievements waiting. The first we get is for simply going into both bathrooms, unlocking Janitor, and then the next we unlock is for collecting all of the evidence. We have collected evidence throughout the game so far, like the bloody shirt in the bins outside, but by doing this we unlock Detective. But there is also something lurking in here, as the final stall won't open, and all we can see is some feet and a bizarre breathing that I would not like to investigate further. And things just keep getting weirder, as when we leave, somebody has moved this bizarre looking mannequin outside the door to scare the smeg out of me, and it worked. So to calm down, we decide to give Jenny a call. The number that we found on the side of the toilet is a late night phone service, but more importantly we unlock an achievement for this as well, called Late Night Call. However, this hard-working lady doesn't quite get the horny right, as it's her first day on the job and she isn't used to talking to women, so it soon devolves into just natural talking. But of course we get another obligatory warning of that there is a murderer on the loose and it's not safe. But the 60 seconds we're allotted runs out, and just like that, love is lost. Now, waiting for the drying to be done though, we decide to nip to the shops again, but nothing really happens, except when we leave the pizzeria again. This time when we leave, an old woman is standing in front of us. When we talk to her, we unlock the achievement for talking to everybody in the game, called Chatterbox, and then she also says that we look like her. We've got the same eyes, the same hair, but we have no idea who she's talking about. We assume it's just one of the missing girls, but she's done talking and we're done waiting. The dryer is done. But but our clothes are still soaking wet. He must have got the machines from next door or something. So we go to complain and get our money back. However, instead of a well-rested attendant, we see a spot of blood on the walls though and go to investigate. When we go through, his body instead falls from the heavens completely dead. And yes, that also did scare me. However, he has been absolutely ripped to shreds, so we grab a nearby hammer and call the police, but the phone disconnects only a second into the call. Cut to 20 minutes later and we play as the responding police officer man. But with nobody about, we go to investigate because it's my job. When we go to the door of the laundromat though, we start to hear crying, and the noise of the crying is the most cursed shite I have ever heard.
Is that someone crying? It sounds like it's coming from that office by the people.
But it's coming from a nearby office building, so we instead investigate there. Making it through room by room, we don't really see anything suspicious, until we turn a corner and see, honestly, I'm not sure what this is, playing with a tiny... God, I hope that's a doll. But when they see us, the lights go out, because of course they do, and we pull out our gun ready to kill something. And yeah, it is unfortunately said that it also wasn't a doll that she was holding. I'll leave it up to you. However, we continue to make it through the rooms, although now far more scared than before. We enter a room full of boxes, but the door on the other side is locked. But once we turn around to go back the way we came, we open the door to a man scared out of his mind. But it's too late. Before we can mention a thing, the womb ripper appears behind him and quickly kills him, all without us being able to shoot at all, which is just fantastic. However, now we need to run to get out of here. We crawl into the air ducts to escape the killer, but once we reach the other end, it's over, as the womb ripper appears out of nowhere and just kills us, also unlocking us the achievement Meet the Womb Ripper. We then appear as Sarah in the laundrette again, and we are thrown into a cutscene immediately of the lovely patron from before also getting stabbed, killed and carted away. When we go to leave, everything has gone to hell as the front door has been chained shut, and for some reason the womb ripper decided to wash the dirt and blood out of some intestines, as well as somehow playing the most disturbing song imaginable.
Baby is drowsing.
So wanting to ignore that as soon as possible, we find a secret door in the wall and use the hammer to break the entrance open and squeeze ourselves in. We are now in the old laundrette that supposedly burnt down, even though it doesn't look like there's any fire damage from here, but we eventually find a room with all of the wanted posters of every missing person. But before we can even get our bearings and have a proper look at who's missing, the killer has found us and we need to escape. Thankfully, the filing cabinet to our right is also well labelled, so we move it and escape further into this hellhole. We then find an even more horrible room full of flesh and hanging corpses, and the womb ripper is clearly a Bubba fan, as they love to make masks out of the skin of the, oh god, of the infants whose mothers were killed? Oh my god, I hated saying that sentence aloud, I just feel dirty. So ignoring that, we then find a rusty scalpel and use that on the swinging corpse to find a key inside the body that will let us go even further into the laundrette. Also, this laundrette is absolutely massive. I'm sorry, it doesn't need to be this big. In the next room, we also find a body. The driver's license, though, says that this man is actually Louis, and his body has been rotting here for many, many years, which rules him out as the womb ripper, I guess. Exploring further though, we also find the police officer's gun and unlock the achievement Locked and Loaded. We then see a door with Find the Child written on it, and for some reason shoot the lock off and decide to investigate that. Inside we find some courage apparently, and now knowing we have a fight on our hands, get our gun out nice and ready. Walking through though, the lights pack out of course as well. And the womb ripper is flesh on our tails, and moments later, in a very nice sound cue, the womb ripper appears. We shoot them and they run off. Shot after shot, they do not back down until with one final shot they hit the floor and we unlock the achievement Survivor for, well, surviving, and we unload the rest of the bullets into her. Wait, her? Well, yes, because the womb ripper is actually in fact Samantha. Louis did indeed lock her inside the laundrette and set it on fire as he didn't want to have to deal with her pregnancy. However, Samantha survived, but unfortunately she was horrifically burnt and lost her child. With all of this happening, she just simply snapped. She killed Louis and then killed those who had what she didn't, a child. But that's Bloodwash. However, we are treated to a spicy after credit scene. We now play as the mortuary assistant, ready to do an autopsy on Samantha and maybe figure out how the hell she took 4 gunshots and held the patron up by just one arm. We begin and cut her open, but you guessed it, the power goes out and we go to turn it back on. We do indeed just that and go back to Samantha's autopsy, but she's missing again? How? But unfortunately, running away is not the smart move, as when we leave she appears out of one of the gurneys and we unlock the final achievement, It's Not Over. And that's Bloodwash, and with that, the grind is over. Now, as I said before, I have such a soft spot for games like this. I can't even say it's nostalgia for me because I didn't really play that many horror games growing up. The only two that I can think of are Eternal Darkness and Doom 3. But something about these games just absolutely grip me, from the silly over-the-top 80s horror stories to the aesthetic. They just do it for me. So I had a lot of fun with this really short but really sweet horror. However, it's time to get to the stats. It took us a whopping 2 hours to complete the game and collect all 15 achievements that it comes with. The shortest on my channel yet by far, and I am almost certain that this is going to be the shortest playtime on the channel for quite a while. As in terms of rating, I'm going to be giving this game a very solid, and surprising to some maybe, 8 out of 10. As for what it is, a very short PSX campy style horror, it really delivers, and it is everything that it really needs to be. It's fun, it's got some good jump scares as well as some really creepy moments. However, to improve on in the future, I wouldn't have minded a little more backstory into how Samantha got her powers other than a glimpse of a satanic ritual in the basement, and also maybe going a little bit further into the crazy over the top style, as only the really shocking stuff happened right towards the end. But again, I really loved this. And for the difficulty of the achievements, of course, I'm going to be giving this game a simple 1 out of 10, as I completed the entire game and unlocked every achievement in 2 hours, and even if you miss one, cleanup will take a fraction of that time. So yeah, definitely an easy yet extremely fun 100%. And in regards to the hardest achievement, honestly, all of the achievements are kind of the same. They're very quick, very easy to unlock, but if I had to choose, I would probably give it to Chatterbox, as it's the only one where you really maybe have to go out of your way a little bit just to make sure that you talk to all the NPCs. But even so, again, you will not even probably miss this one. And I really can't wait to see what this company has in store for us in the future. But that's Bloodwash. Now, last week we went through the entirety of The Evil Within 2, collecting the 50 base game achievements. However, now it's time for the run that broke me, going through the entire game again on Classic mode. In Classic mode, you play on Nightmare difficulty, but you can only save the game 7 times. And not only that, you cannot upgrade Sebastian in the slightest, and you can't upgrade your guns at all either. So needless to say, this one hurt. So please make the pain and suffering worth it by subscribing and coming back next Sunday for the conclusion of The Evil Within 2 and The Evil Within series so far. And whilst you're doing that, I also want to mention that I'm currently live on Twitch right now, so why don't you come swing by, because of course we will be doing more of the achievement grind. It would be absolutely lovely to have you join us. But that's it from me today, folks. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye for now.